Hey everyone, happy Friday and welcome to Otaku Talk. Today we are reviewing chapter 314 of My Hero Academia. And man, the mangaka, he did a good job this chapter because I knew it was coming and I was like, I refuse to hear her sob story, her justification, her rationalization of what she's doing. I don't care. And after this chapter, I was like, oh man. All right, you got me a little bit. So without further ado, let's get into it. But if this is your first time or even you're a reoccurring viewer, please do me a favor, like and subscribe. Please, it's just a click of a button, bang that bell, do me a solid. It'd mean the world to me. So thank you so much. Like, share, and subscribe. Alright guys, 314 of My Hero Academia. Man, some people might say this was kind of an uneventful chapter, but I thought it was okay. There was a couple things I wanted clarified and to touch on more in this chapter, didn't do that, but we got a big look at to why Lady Nagant is the way she is. We got to look at her motivations, and we know that she's not just some random scorned woman / scorned human, hero that just kind of was stained and was like, I just don't like the way society is. We find out that she used to work for the Public Safety Committee, and long story short, they had her assassinating motherfuckers. And I get where she's coming from because And I think this is good for Deku too, because it's good to disillusion him. And I have some questions for All Might. If I was Deku, right as soon as this is over, I'm like, the first thing I'm gonna be like, did you know about this? Did you know about this? And if you did know about this, why didn't you tell me? So, just like most things in life, you have a front-facing body and a back-facing body. You have all the heroes, going out saving the world, doing interviews, blah, blah, blah. But then you have the people doing the dirt, behind the scenes. You have your Ambu, you have your Black Ops, you have your, you have your cleaners. You have people that fix certain situations that you don't want the public to know about. And so basically she was that person. And it's really sad because it wasn't like she was a mercenary or someone in the military or something that signed up for this. She was a little girl. You see her all adorable as probably maybe when she was around Deku's age or whatever. Long hair, school uniform, cheery eyes. And it looks like they recruited her. And it makes sense why they recruited her. She has the perfect quirk for assassinations and just straight up killing. She can turn her body into a gun. I'll be real with you, there's not much saving you can do with a quirk that's meant for that, right? There's ways around it and there's, you can avoid lethal shots, but they saw her quirk for what it was, a weapon, and they decided they want to use it as one. And so, my question is, in this series, I haven't really heard much talk about the court system. We do know a little bit about the laws and that, you can't be a vigilante and you're not allowed to go out and use your quirk without permission and without a superhero license. But I haven't heard the laws about what society as a whole is allowed to do, because from what she's been telling me, that's some really messed up stuff. And either the higher-ups are aware of it and they just cover it up, or no one's truly aware of it and what they're doing is illegal. And that poses the question of, if those in charge of protecting society are engaged in illegal or unethical, immoral things, what does that say about society? What does that say about everything the superhero society has been built upon? The trust, before the heroes right now, how we currently exist inside the My Hero Academia universe is all the heroes and stuff have lost the trust of society. And that's in my opinion, BS. You knew about All For One, All Might has a secret, petty stuff. Why are there secrets being kept, right? But if the public knew about this, I wonder how they would react. I truly do, because I was under the impression that she was just a regular hero, and then for whatever reason quit and decides to do whatever. Because there's even a scene where some little kids run up to her and they're like, "Oh my God, you're our favorite hero!" And if what she does is like kill people behind the scenes, how are they aware of her? But what I'm assuming is she makes public appearances and like does do legitimate superhero work during the day. But like this stuff right here is really hush hush, redacted. No one could know about. Similar to like how her protege Hawks was doing stuff, and he was going underground and working with the villains as well. So I just think it really messed with her. From what you see when she's young, she really does seem innocent and happy-go-lucky, and it just looks like the public safety committee just really traumatized her. They really changed her, and they made her do things that she wasn't really wanting to do. But it was kind of like, patriotism where I'm doing it for my country. Like she decided she's doing this for the betterment of like mankind. And I think that the more missions they sent her on and the more sketchy things she was doing, the more it started to weigh on her that like something about this is wrong. I don't like this. This isn't right. I don't feel like a hero anymore. I feel like an assassin, like a mercenary. And that's something that would affect me too. I was really sad. Like I had like a little bit of a like Anakin, not the younglings moment where they want to shake her hand and she goes to shake their hand and all she sees is blood. And I felt bad because like that's her like having an inward introspection on her. And she just feels like she sees these innocent kids, and in these innocent kids, she probably sees herself. And she's like, I don't have the right to tarnish these innocent kids. I don't even want to touch them. My hands are stained with blood and they want to shake my hand. Yeah, man, that was really rough to go through. I went into this chapter being like, nope, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna hear it. She needs to take responsibility for what she's become and what she's done. But now knowing a little bit more to the story, I'm appalled and I'm a little like, yeah, I get it. I get it. Does that okay it? No, but it does show that you can't be blind in this world and you can't just, not ask questions and at the end of the day, hiding things from people and like, even if you're doing good, here's the tricky part. Even if you're doing good, if you're doing bad to accomplish it, where does that leave you? If, for example, our government, we find out time and time and again, our government has done some really, really fucked up shit. Some really fucked up shit. And it's like, but we do X, Y, Z, we help this country, we help that country, but like at what cost, at what expense? And so you just kind of have this weird, I don't know, just this kind of weird, unresolved issue of morality, ethics. Is anything permissible as long as it's towards the greater good? This is a big decision and a big moment in Deku's life, and he's going to have to figure out what path he wishes to walk. And I don't envy that decision of his. I felt really bad for her, and the fact that she was pretty much forced into villainy. All she wanted to do was quit. She pretty much told the chairman, "Hey, this ain't it. This ain't it. I'm not about this anymore. I don't like this. I don't like what I've become, what you guys are making me do. I don't believe in this anymore." That's the main part. I don't believe. It's hard to be disillusioned. It's really hard to be disillusioned. And anytime you've been doing something long enough that you had faith and pride in, and then that faith and pride is shattered, you're gonna reevaluate things. And she reevaluated things, and she wanted to do things amicably. She wanted She wanted to resign. And this dude's like, well, you know what resignation means? And he's doing the whole, reaching in his jacket thing. And I can only assume he was going to shoot her. Now, do we truly know? No, because she didn't even give him a chance. I really can't wait for the anime to come out, because usually the anime will expound on stuff like that. But I really I really want to know if he was going to shoot her, or maybe he wasn't going to shoot her, and maybe all of this is a grievous error, big mistake. I doubt it, though, because like I said, if he's the kind of person that was making her go on these missions and kill people without, having them go through the due process of law, I wouldn't put it past him to get rid of her, because what, you think you're just going to let this assassin you've been using to do things behind the scenes illegally go and have the potential to like expose you guys or tell people about what you've been doing or go rogue and actively fight against you? Hell no. She's a liability. She's a risk. They're going to want to eliminate that. And I think that's what was going to happen. And I think she said hell no and blasted him. So that's whatever. I hope Deku was able to process this during the fight. But yeah, I can't hate her. She is wilding out right now, but I do hope some Talk No Jutsu is coming soon from Deku. At first I wasn't. I actually was gonna say this in my last review and I forgot. But I do think that the future of Deku is going to be a little bit of some Talk No Jutsus with people. He doesn't want to have to kill people, and so I think we're going to have very Naruto-esque moments where he tries to reach the bad guy with words, which honestly, people make fun of it, but that's what you're supposed to do. You're always supposed to try to de-escalate situations and try to resolve things without violence, and then use violence as a last resort. And so I think that is what makes Deku a great hero, the fact that he's willing to do these things. And in fact, I think that so much, I think that it will be inevitably what leads to his demise. We found out in the very beginning of this series that, this is a story about how he becomes the greatest hero. So we know without a doubt that he's going to become phenomenal. But one thing that has been weighing really heavily on me is the fact that it just really seems like he's nowhere close to what All Might was. And it kind of seems like the mangaka has been picking up the pace of the series. And so All Might was able to do these incredible things without the use of any of the other predecessors' quirks. But now that now that it's in Deku, Deku is a fraction of what All Might was with All for One alone. And Deku has access to all these other quirks. And yeah, they're cool, but they're nothing really special. And I still think Fajin is dumb. I really want people's opinions on that. Is that just me? Or is Fajin useless? It just feels like a redundancy of what One For All does. If it made him faster or stronger, why couldn't One For All have done that? Why couldn't he have just cranked up the percentage on One For All? Or if your answer is maybe it would have injured him, so why doesn't Fajin? It's a whole spiel. But yeah, this whole story right now is actually incredibly sad, and My Hero Academia is just getting more and more depressing. Not saying that's a bad thing, but there has been a monumental and drastic shift in the whole atmosphere and tone of the story ever since the small time skip in the fight with Shigaraki, and how Deku's going to bring himself to fight Shigaraki. And, the fact that Nagant's hair used to be super long and now it's short, just, it kind of hurts my heart because it tells me that, hey, how many people has she killed? Her hair is so short now. So, she's been murking people, and I don't want to even think about how many people she's had to, kill. But, let's flash forward to the end of the chapter. I love the fact that Deku isn't just, going, no, there's no excuse or what, blah, blah, blah. He's I'm starting to understand that things aren't black and white. That there's shades of gray, and people's situations and anxieties and fears all culminate into, creating these situations. And people aren't necessarily evil. They just have different ways of thinking about things. Now, that's not to say that there aren't straight up evil people that are evil for the sake of evil. That would be, naive of me to say. But I do think that a lot of the world's problems are caused by misunderstandings or people doing what they think is right. Right now, you could bring up the whole Israeli-Palestine conflict. That's a big example of, if you ask, I have Jewish friends and I have Palestinian friends, and my Jewish friends are like, hey, this is what's been happening. It's not us, it's them. Palestinians are like, hey, this is what's happened. It's not us, it's them. You're getting different viewpoints. Now, is there a common truth? Is there a whole truth? Yeah, but that's not, people aren't going to always feel that way about things. But Deku says, I understand that, but he said that's why at all times you have to extend a helping hand. You have to extend a helping hand. You have to try to resolve things, because if they're just allowed to marinate and fester, it gets worse. Because he says exactly that. He's like, you guys have been brushing your anxieties and fears and anger under a rug, and maggots are crawling out. Like, all these repressed things, all these hidden things, things that have been done in the dark, and repressed feelings and stuff are manifesting evil, or at least not evil, but like unfortunate circumstances. And so I think this is a really mature turn for My Hero Academia. I think this is a very interesting turn for My Hero Academia, and I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm not gonna lie. Something I do want to say is I've been feeling a little bit kind of like not with the shits for a while, in terms of the story feels a little different. Like I liked when it was a story about a superhero school and like them training and his interactions with his friends. It's become an entirely different story, and that's fine. That's fine. I just really hope that it sticks the landing. It goes where it needs to go. I'm going to miss the rest of the characters. I'm sure they'll pop up soon, but the direction we're going in is new, and I'm still kind of getting used to it. I'm still, trying to figure out how I feel about it. But as far as the story is, there's some really interesting stuff happening here, and I can't wait to get into more of it. Sorry if this was a short review, but I pretty much covered my thoughts on this. There's nothing I really wish to expound upon more. I do have some ideas about what could be coming up next, but I'm gonna wait for the chapter until I feel really like inspired to say more and like elaborate more about what's happening. But overall, relatively decent chapter. He did a great job of making me kind of sympathize with a character that I had initially refused to sympathize with, because I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. The explanation of why she's like this, and yeah, and I kind of see it. I thought she was friends with friends with Chisaki. I believe that's his name, Overhaul. But now she looks like she's using him as a shield. Part of me feels like she's not really going to like let him die. She's just trying to push Deku's buttons and do like a whole like, hey, if you can't save this guy, you're not a real hero. So that's interesting. Some other things that happen in this chapter. Deku uses I believe the fifth quirk a little bit more offensively. He's typically used it to like swing like Spider-Man, or to contain his enemies like Eraserhead or something like that. But now we see for once it's kind of like he's using it as an attack, and it goes and it spears his opponent. So that was really interesting. Oh, and something I wanted to say about Nagant. I was completely oblivious for the longest time that I thought her arm just turned into a gun, but it looks like her arm just completely folds back and like a gun extends. I had to go back to the other chapter. I was like, oh, I see it now. But they made it really clear in this chapter that like that's how it works. It flips back and a scope comes out. Like I said, the last chapter, how not a scope, the rifle comes out. Then last chapter, I noticed that she could create scopes. So I don't know what the extent of her ability is. I was asking if she could use multiple weapons. It looks like she kind of uses a grenade launcher kind of on Deku, so it does look like she has a variety of weapons at her disposal. So I'm really excited to see what else she has up her sleeve, what other abilities she have. She's able to communicate through her bullets. That's super interesting. So yeah, I'm ready to see what else she has and how exactly Deku is going to defeat her, and also what Deku's going to decide after he defeats her, because there's no way he can hear all this information and, process it immediately. I think important conversations need to be had. And I do like the fact that, once again, I know I said it earlier, but that he acknowledged that I didn't have this information before. I'm slowly but surely trying to understand. And I know things aren't as simple as I once thought they were. So, Yeah, that concludes my review and analysis of chapter 314. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. If you, I'm sorry, it was a little bit kind of tangential. I didn't really come in with a game plan. I just kind of read it and was like, "Ugh, I don't know, like what exactly I want to focus on this chapter." So I was like, I'll just. I kind of came in here with no like script, and I don't write anything down, but like I kind of usually keep a mental script. I just came in here like I'm just gonna spitball it. So I hope it came out well. If it was just kind of incoherent, I apologize. But if you did enjoy it, if you did think I had valuable points, I appreciate that. And please like, share, subscribe, bang that bell, add to my subscriber list, join the League of Otaku, and have a great day. Take care.